Good afternoon, friends. Welcome back to the Purple Mountain Spiritual Centre Healing Centre's many videos that we've done now since the coronavirus. Our job doing these videos is to try to inspire you with some of our knowledge that we've gained, some of the wisdom that we've gained over these past 15-20 years. So my job this afternoon is to do a talk on herbal teas, herbal tonics, in particular related to your immune system. I'd like to welcome everybody. I'm just going to wait just a couple of minutes for everybody to get online, to get on our video. If not, we will keep the video on our Facebook page, and please share it, because the more knowledge that we share, the more that the messages about protecting your immune system and prevention will try to save lives. Okay, friends. I hope that you're doing your part in washing your hands, staying in, and we will get through this together as a nation, as a people, as a society. And as long as you do your part for your family and your community, we will get this through together. And we all send you much love from the Purple Mountain, and hopefully we'll all get back to normal after, and back to the centres, to the healing sanctuaries, that we continue with our spiritual work. But I hope that you're doing your spiritual work at home. You can pray and send out your love and your light wherever you are across the world. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is the immune system, herbal tonics, herbal teas that anybody can use at home, that you can buy online, make your own if you wish, that will help protect your immune system. I did speak about a couple of videos ago about the difference between prevention and the cure. It is better to prevent an illness from spreading. It is better to prevent and protect the physical body than finding the cure. So once you've got an illness, that would diminish the protection of the physical body. If you break an arm or a leg, that bone will never be the same again. So in terms of health and well-being, the knowledge is being spread much quickly in the past sort of 5 to 10 years in the theory on protection and cure. So it's better to protect the physical body, better to protect your immune system than finding the cure. Okay, so that's very, very, very important. So don't wait to be ill. Don't wait till you are sick. Protect yourselves now. Do the things you can do at home, in the food that you eat, exercise and so forth. Okay. I like to mention as well, in terms of viruses and disease, we're faced with viruses and disease every day. I know we're probably more aware about the coronavirus at this moment in time, but many of us have had flu and cold and other kind of viruses, sickness virus, diarrhea viruses. So we're all being affected by some form of virus and bacteria. And even now, our bodies might not show symptoms, but our immune system is fighting viruses and bacteria every day, every moment. Okay, that's important to mention. So as the virus penetrates our defences, so in terms when we look at prevention, we want to protect and fortify those defences, so that when we do come across viruses and disease, that our immune system can fight that virus or that bacteria, so that we can recover it from it much quickly. And I know on personal experience, when many years ago I used to suffer a lot from throat infections, a lot of colds, I had flu a couple of times, but since I've taken the road into herbal medicine, I find that my illness has greatly decreased by nearly 80%. And when I do get ill, when I do have a cold, I do recover a lot quicker. And I try to stay away from man-made products, man-made pharmaceutical medicine. I try to gravitate towards more natural medicine, and I'll talk to you a little bit why we try to prevent rather than find the cure later on into the video. So I hope you find it interesting. Please, Chris is behind the camera, and if you do have any questions, anything you're worried about in regard to your health and well-being, I may be able to assist you or help you with some of the herbs and some of the roots and spices that you can use in your herbal cupboard, in your spice cupboard. You can buy online, and I might guide you through some ways that you can look in protecting and helping those symptoms and those diseases and illnesses. Herbal medicine's been used by society for thousands and thousands of years. We're probably most popular in Chinese medicine, and Chinese medicine is much more recognised now, particularly in the Western culture. If you go to China, a majority of people will gravitate towards a herbalist before they see a doctor. And in essence, in my personal opinion, your herbs are your medicine, and they work fantastic in treating illnesses, disease, viruses and bacteria. Anything from a strained ankle, arthritis, to a cough, or to a stomach ulcer, stomach problems, kidney stones. Herbs can assist in nearly all disease and problems of the physical body. I like to also mention that today we're going to concentrate in particular, because when we look at herbal medicine, it can be massive, it can be a big minefield, and sometimes you can be overwhelmed by the knowledge. You'll find that some herbalists say one thing, another herbalist will say another thing, and a lot of it is to use your own initiative, use your own intuition, and to use your own knowledge, do your own research in finding the right herb for you, because not all herbs are right for everybody, and we'll talk about that later on in terms of vibrations and frequency in terms of herbs and how we can cultivate those herbs and so forth. I like to mention as well that that herbs should only be used as a way to try to heal, and you can incorporate herbs in your everyday cooking, when you make soups and stews, spaghetti bolognese, chili con carnes. There's lots of thousands of dishes, and try to choose dishes that you're able to incorporate herbs rather than taking a herbal tonic. Normally a herbal tonic, herbal tinctures and things like that are normally taken once you are ill. Some tinctures, some tonics are taken in terms of prevention. So in terms, you're not ill, but you want to strengthen your immune system, you want to strengthen your stomach or your kidneys. If you've struggled with your kidney pain and you want to take a tonic that will strengthen your kidney chi, or your liver chi, you've had liver problems, you had a big operation to do with your heart, there are herbs that can assist and help strengthen particular organs, particular physical systems. So really it's about you doing your own research. Here at the White Turtle Lodge, which is incorporated within the Purple Mountain, we do a lot of consultations, and we try to incorporate physical healing as well as spiritual healing, because they shouldn't be separate. So we look at the spiritual side as well as the physical side. So we look at the spiritual cause of an illness and a disease. It could be stress, and most likely to do with our own emotions. And then we incorporate a tonic that will work side by side. So we do a lot of that kind of work here at the White Turtle Lodge. And if you'd like to know more information about some of the treatments that we offer here, please inbox us or ask us, and we can send out a brochure to you with all our fantastic treatments that we offer here, all guided by spirit and shamans and healers and therapists. That we have a collection of ancient healing techniques and using old ancient knowledge, and to bring it back into the modern world, because as a society there is obesity, more people smoke and drink, diabetes is on the rise, and we're getting sicker, cancer's on the rise. And it's important that we've got to look at things like what we eat, what we drink, how we smoke. They all contribute to the demise of our physical body. So we've really got to look in that mirror as a society. And for me, it's a great opportunity for us to really look within that mirror and make personal changes to health and well-being, because we can all do better. I know it's very, very hard. We've all been there. I've been there. You've got things of temptation. You just have to walk to a supermarket and you're bombarded with chocolate, crisps, wine, and many other products that ultimately damages the cells, damages the kidneys and the liver. And really we've got to look, and as an individual and then as a family and as a community, and look to bring back to wholeness. And it's a great opportunity now with the coronavirus being stuck at home, is to really make amendments, get back to healthy cooking. So easy just to press a button and order a takeaway, so easy just to buy microwave food, and it's the convenience side. And we want to, here at the White Turtle Lodge at the Purple Mountain, as many other sanctuaries, we try to bring those ancient ways that have worked so fundamentally well for humanity for millions of years. Why can't it work now? It's only been the past 100 years. I think society's been sicker. People say we do live longer, but at what cost? At what cost? And that's up to you. I just want to mention as well, when you do take the road to herbal medicine, you've got to be extremely patient. Unfortunately, in this society that we live in now, we're a one-pill society, and we take a pill for a headache, we take a pill for stomach problems or kidney problems, and ultimately we don't look at the cause of that headache, the kidney problem or the ulcer. And a lot of it's to do with emotions and stress that we cause to our own physical bodies. So you've got to be patient. So when you're taking things, when you start in the path of herbal medicine, taking supplements, tonics or herbal teas, it takes 2 to 3 weeks before it really gets into your system. And in terms of its immunity capabilities, we've got to sustain that. We can't just expect to take a couple of tablets once or twice a week. We've got to take herbal tablets every day, and that will help our physical bodies. Now, our recommendations here is that we recommend people taking herbal medicine up to 3 months, then taking a month off. So as we don't want to use herbal medicine as a crutch to your health and well-being. A mistake that I did many years ago when I got into this road, I was drinking lots and lots of herbal tea, and that really defeats the object. We've got to balance this out with other aspects of our health and well-being. So we can't just eat saturated fats and takeaways, not exercise, and still live healthy. And you can't then say, well, the herbal medicine's not working. Well, it works side by side with other aspects of your health and well-being. And don't worry, it can take many years to uncondition and reprogram your mind to that positive, healthy mindset. Because remember, everything that you see from minerals, salts, herbs, fruits, vegetables, they all vibrate at a frequency. And this is why some foods are stronger in its nutrient side and vitamin side than others. Hence, we call certain food and vegetables superfoods, and which means the higher frequency foods, which means to sustain our frequency vibration of our chakra system, our organs, and at an optimum level, we've got to search for foods and fruits that sustains that vibration. When we eat man-made food, saturated fats, dairy product, meat, things like that, they work on a low frequency, which means if we want our defenses to be strong, and in order for our defenses to be strong, we've got to eat foods that matches that vibration and frequency. So in essence, imagine your body being your temple and your house. And to protect your home, your house, you're going to do things that protects it. You're going to eat things that's going to protect your protection, the wall of your protection, by eating saturated fats, takeaways, alcohol, smoking, drugs. All these things diminishes and destroys that wall of protection. It is as simple as that. It's very important to mention as well, as I've mentioned before, that don't use herbal medicine as a crutch in terms of your health and well-being. You want to look at things like light exercise, things like Tai Chi, Qigong, Kaihana, yoga, breathing exercises, meditation, massages, manipulation. All these things work side by side with herbal medicine. Things like drinking plenty of water. Drink 1 to 3 litres of water a day is essential to optimum levels of your immunity. It's important to mention as well in your flexibility, resting, getting enough sleep, and also getting enough sunlight, vitamin D. All these things have to work side by side in herbal medicine, in the food and the vegetables that we eat, and that's very, very important. We might do another video later on in the month in related to some superfoods that we promote here at the White Turtle Lodge. So really, when you want to make true amendments to your health and well-being, look at the food that you eat. So look at food that gives you, that sustains that high frequency vibration. So you want foods and vegetables and grains and things like that that protects the immune system. Other chocolates and sugars and saturated fats, they hinder and destroy that protection. Okay, so I hope you've all understood that first part. I like to mention as well that it's great to see that more and more people are moving towards a natural form of medicine. And I see that the food that we eat is our medicine. So I don't see the difference. Everything that we eat and drink is about sustaining the well-being of our mind, body and spirit. Now, in terms of herbal medicine, there are different aspects of the plant that is used as either the roots. You've got the dandelion, for example, the lovely dandelion. The roots are used or the flowers are used. And sometimes even the leaves are used. So the different parts of the plant will contain different minerals and vitamins, will have different functions depending on the disease or illness. So again, don't be overwhelmed. Certain herbs, certain leaves, certain flowers do different jobs and responsibilities. They're different workers, if you will. Tonics can also consist of being dried or being fresh. So certain herbs can be dried or certain herbs can be cut as fresh. So that really depends on the tea. So I have a bit of a recap there. So you can either use the root, the flowers or the leaf of a plant or a herb, and you can dry it or you can have it fresh. So it's totally up to you. And really, for optimum level, use herbs and spices in your cooking, in your dishes every day. And once you do, you'll feel the taste buds starting to change, your vibration starting to lift, and you feel healthier, you feel lighter. I know that when particularly when you go on holiday, you start eating, you drink lots of wine and you eat very heavy meals, you eat more heavy and you feel sluggish, you feel heavier. And it's about eating foods that motivate you. You want to eat herbs that activate and gives you that energy and that doesn't make you fall asleep. So you want things that activates that chi and gets your energy moving, getting you to think positive things that are going to sustain your brain, your stomach, your kidneys, your liver, your spleen, all the herbs that work side by side. Okay, different herbs can then be made into herbal teas, very available now in supermarkets, in health and well-being shops in Holland and Barrett, and there's lots of herbal teas. You can buy lots of them online. And in my opinion, certain herbal teas are stronger than others, and in my opinion you can make your own herbal teas. A great one for cold is lemon and ginger. You can buy the root of the ginger and the lemon, and it will cost you hardly anything and it'll last you. You get your big pan, just slice the ginger up, slice some lemon up, put some honey in and boil it down where it's quite thick, and you can use that as your herbal tea, and that's probably even better than the tea bags that you buy. But if you're not great at going shopping and it's easier for you just to buy some herbal teas, then do so. And herbal teas is a great way of, it's a quite easy way in my opinion. Sometimes mixing your herbs can be a bit of a nuisance, and it can be very frustrating. Sometimes it can be very messy. So herbal teas is a great way to intake some of those minerals and those spices that your body needs. Okay. Also, certain tonics can be made, supplements can be made, tinctures could be made. So herbal medicine in the herbs and the spices and the flowers and the leaves can be used in different ways. Another way is through aromatherapy, but that's for another talk, friends. Okay, so let's dig a little bit deeper in terms of our immunity. Now, it's very important to mention in terms, I'm trying to teach everybody today about prevention rather than the cure. Now, every day your body is fighting bacteria and viruses, and it's important to keep your defences up and look after your well-being. It's not just looking after the immune system, it's about looking after the whole physical body. So you're looking at the optimum level, protecting the whole body. So there's certain universal spices and herbs such as astragalus and things like turmeric and ginger. They're herbs that often can be incorporated into your diet every day. Certain herbs should only be used 2 or 3 times a week, or every 15 days, or every couple of months, because your body can store certain minerals, can store certain vitamins into your body. Okay. I'd like to mention as well, sometimes the immune system cannot replenish and rebuild things that have been lost once we've gone through a virus. So sometimes we've got to give it a bit of a helping hand. Sometimes those things that are stored, the hormones, the chemicals and the vitamins and the minerals that are stored in the body, are then needing to be replenished. So we've got to look after it. And that's why sometimes when we're ill, our bodies long for particular fruit and vegetables. So in essence, the body will know what it needs. And that's why I'm a firm believer that every herb, every spice, there's a disease, an illness, a herb can help every disease, every illness that's on this planet. So really we want herbs that strengthen the body, our own natural defences. So we don't force those defences. And really in terms of herbalism, we want to, when we try to find the cure or look at prevention, we've got to look at things that's going to cool the body by participating sweat achieved by opening the sweat pores, increase blood and lymph circulation and toning. So we've got to things like purging, we call that purging the physical body. And this is why sometimes when people have a cold and they can't quite get rid of it, and then a couple of weeks later the cold comes back, or cold sore comes back, the disease comes back, is because you've not purged the physical body. So really we've got to look at herbs that can cool the body by participating sweat. So the skin in essence is the first line of defence for disease and virus, and that's why we look at things in our healing clinic. We look at things like skin tone, temperature, what does the skin look like, how does it feel, and the colour, the condition of the skin are all in progress of the disease. Even the way you can look at somebody in the face, you can tell how ill they are, what kind of disease. And actually, even by looking in the eyes, touching the skin, blood pressure, really gives you good insight on the health and well-being of the physical body. So what we're looking at in terms of our immunity protection is encouraging the breakdown and removal of the byproducts of infection through lymph, spleen, the liver, kidneys and digestion. And they're the organs we're going to look at today. We're looking at particularly the spleen, the kidneys, the liver, the digestive system. They're all part of the protection of the immune system. So again, we're not just looking at the immune system as a whole, we're looking at particular organs, and by protecting particular organs protects the immune system. We also, as herbalists, look at the digestive tracts, the mouth, the ears, the nose and the lungs in terms of purging, protection, fortifying and releasing those byproducts of toxins that our viruses have caused. So we want to clear out that system and purge the physical body. And that's why when you're ill and when you're poorly, you long for very healthy foods, because our body requires to replace some of those nutrients. So in a way, it's an army in your body that have just fought very, very well to fight that infection. But what we want to do is to protect even before those viruses enter the physical body. We're now going to look at the spleen, and then I'm going to give you some herbs that will help look after the spleen. Probably an organ that's often missed, often probably misunderstood as well. So let's talk about the spleen's role. Now, the spleen's role is a little bit similar to the kidneys. It filters blood, the red blood, as part of the immune system, so it works hand in hand in the immune system. So it gets rid of the old red blood cells that are recycled in the spleen. So the red blood cells and the platelets and white blood cells are stored here as well. So when we're looking at white blood cells like T cells or C cells, they are stored in the spleen. So when there is an infection, when there's a virus, the spleen will come then in overdrive and it will release. So just imagine it being a battery of cells, white blood cells and platelets. And remember, the white blood cells are filtered through the blood, so as long as the blood's healthy, it will go to that infection. So the protection of the spleen is very, very important. Also, it also fights certain types of bacteria, the spleen, that's found in pneumonia and meningitis. So again, when we talk about the lungs, it works side by side. The spleen has many other functions. We're trying to relate it to the immune system. There is a fantastic herb that is very, very effective in terms of your immune system, and I can't promote it enough, and that's astragalus. Now, I take astragalus if I feel that immune system feels well, and it's about knowing your physical body. No one's going to know your physical body more than you do, and it's about being back to that wholeness. It's about not only just looking at that mirror, it's about feeling and understanding and using and sensing what the body feels. So it's about listening to the body. And when I feel a little bit low or feel a bit down, I would take astragalus for a couple of days, and I take them in supplements. And for me, astragalus is probably the most effective way of taking astragalus is through supplements. Certain Chinese herbalists will use astragalus and other herb formulas, which means that herb formula, there will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of herbs mixed in together, all doing different things. Okay, and which I'll explain to you later on. So astragalus is fantastic for the protection of the spleen. Also another, this is a vegetable, is cabbage. Those that, I don't mean this disrespectfully, some of the older generation will remember drinking old cabbage water. And I know at home it might sound disgusting when we steam our vegetables, and in the bottom of the water, the boiled water in the steam pot, I would drink that water cold because all those nutrients have come down, particularly in cabbage water, is fantastic. So cabbage water is fantastic. Eating lots of, in my personal opinion, red cabbage, and the darker the green cabbage is the best cabbage. Stay away from white cabbage. You want the darker the green vegetable, the better for your spleen. So again, we're just looking at the organ, the spleen. So look at astragalus, cabbage. Now you can incorporate cabbage in your meal 2-3 times a week. Also a fantastic fruit that is very, very good for your spleen, and that's cherry. So you can get sour cherry, it's probably the better cherry, and cherry can also be used to help with the brain, high in antioxidants. So it's fantastic again for the spleen, and you can have that in juice form, in concentrate. And even if you've got a cherry tree, if you're extremely lucky, you've got a cherry tree, then you can make your own cherry jam, you can make your own cherry juice, and you can store them away. So there's lots of ways. There's another fantastic herb called cardamom, and there is a Zen tea that you can make. I've not got the formula with me with that today. Chris is very good at making that. And there's lovely cardamom, and I find cardamom extremely refreshing. Okay, cardamom. Cinnamon, also fantastic for the spleen. Also fennel, apricots, carrots, And there's another really good fruit. It's called Indian gooseberry. I know that sometimes gooseberries are only available in this country at particular times of the year because of its harvest, but you can freeze things like Indian gooseberry, you can freeze apricots, carrot, so they're not going to go off, and you can take them back out in the freezer and so you can incorporate things like carrot and cabbage into your main meal. You can have cherry drink, you can make yourself a cherry drink, a herbal tea by adding some fennel, cinnamon and cardamom. So there's lots of different recipes. So have a look at some of those herbs that help the spleen. I'm now going to talk about the kidney. So the kidney's function is about producing hormone that stimulates the production of red blood cells. It preserves other cells that protect the heart and the brain as well. So the heart is extremely important, and in Chinese medicine, the heart, the kidneys are the batteries and stores the energy. So when you're very low within your energy, you feel very fatigued, most likely your kidney chi is very low. And that's where the fight or flight energy is the root chakra. So you've got to look at foods that really get you grounded. You want root vegetables that all stimulate the root chakra and the kidneys. The kidneys also, obviously, majority of us will remember that kidneys helps us pass urine. It helps filter blood, fluid balance. It gets rid of waste. And that's very important when we look at immunity. And remember, we just talked about using herbs that gets rid and filters the blood. We want to clean the blood. We want to strengthen the immune system. We want to have a look at the metabolism and get rid of the waste. And the waste that's wasted through the kidneys is through what we call metabolism and electrolytes and water content. Keep the water content of the body constant. And that's very important. Now, some of these herbs and some of these fruits are fantastic in strengthening the kidneys. We've all heard of cranberry juice, that's easily available. Wheatgrass, there's a great tonic that you can make with a spoon of wheatgrass powder with a glass of cranberry juice, and drink that once a day, and that's great to filter and clean the kidneys. Apple cider vinegar, also fantastic, a great product that anybody can use that will help strengthen and clean the kidney. It also cleans, apple cider vinegar is also excellent for the liver. Dandelion root powder or dandelion leaf powder strengthens the kidney. Lemon, also fantastic in cleaning. Carrot, normal apple and marshmallow, ginger, parsley, all these herbs are excellent in cleaning and protecting the immune system. So protecting the kidneys, it protects the immune system. But the best way, in my personal opinion, so when patients come to our clinic, the first thing we do in a consultation is how much water do you drink? And the first thing we do is get them on a hydrotherapy program, which is about getting them to drink, build up lots of water, drinking 1 to 3 litres of water every day. Because by not drinking enough water, that does huge damage to the organs, things like your kidneys and your liver, your lungs, your heart. You must drink plenty of water. A lot of people, the first thing people say, well, I drink all this water, but I keep going to the toilet. And most likely, the cause of you going too much to the toilet is that you don't have particular minerals. You want water hunger molecule minerals, things like magnesium, into your system that will absorb. What's happening is that because of certain minerals aren't in your physical body, you can't absorb the water molecule into your cells. There's billions of cells in your body all containing water, and particular minerals push in those water molecules into the cells. So you look at things like potassium, sodium and magnesium. You want all these kind of minerals into your blood that will push into the water molecule into your blood system. Okay, let's have a look at the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system it doesn't just only work side by side with the immune system. It has three main functions. The lymphatic system, one of it is the balance of fluid between tissue and blood, known as hemostasis. Another part of the immune system defends against bacteria and other intruders, and that's probably something that we all know about what the lymphatic system does. So it protects us and defends us against bacteria and intruders. It also facilitates the absorption of fats and fat soluble nutrients in the digestive system, and we'll talk about the digestive system in a moment. So things that will help your lymphatic system is a fantastic herb flower called the echinacea flower, and you can get that in herbal teas. I have 2 or 3 of them each day, depending how I feel. You can get them in tinctures, you can get them in drops that you can put on your tongue, you can get them into powder form. Be careful, they can be extremely powerful, some of these flowers and herbs. So against the quantity, it's very important. So you've got to look at your correct herbalist, go and seek out a bit of advice, maybe do your own research before you take any supplements. Okay, another one is astragalus. Remember, we'll talk about astragalus in related to the spleen. So again, astragalus is a great herb supplement that you can take that both helps the spleen, the kidneys, it helps the liver, it does all sorts, and it's an adaptogen, so it will adapt to where it is needed. Another great herb is probably some of the older generation remember this, and is that sarsaparilla. Sarsaparilla was a herb that was often readily available by many sweet shops, probably a lot of sarsaparilla drinks and sweets, but it is coming back, sarsaparilla, and it's probably one of the best herbs for your heart and your blood. So anybody that wants to incorporate anything like that, add sarsaparilla into your diet. Again, wheatgrass, burdock root, remember dandelion and burdock, another fantastic herb, thyme, red root, also fantastic, ocotillo stem, ginger being extremely important. Now ginger in the Ayurveda medicine is a universal herb, so ginger is often used in numerous other aspects of herbal tonics. So things like ginger, incorporate ginger in your diet every day, it will help protect your immune system. So have a bit of a recap with that in terms of your lymphatic system: astragalus, echinacea, sarsaparilla, wheatgrass, burdock root, thyme, red root, ocotillo stem, ginger. So they are some of the herbs that will help your lymphatic system. So let's have a look at your digestive system, let's have a look at your stomach, and we're going to have a look at some prebiotics, and it's about the friendly bacteria in your physical body. Unfortunately, we do not promote here at the White Turtle Lodge, we only promote plant-based products. We don't promote things like dairy products, yogurts, we don't promote meat or anything like that. We promote primarily is plant-based foods, herbs, spices, roots, things like that. In our opinion, they're the only ways that can bring optimum level to your mind, your body and your spirit. Let's have a look at a bit of a stomach cleanser. So something now, in terms of your well-being, in terms of your stomach, the first thing we say as well to those that have got stomach problem is, firstly, you don't drink enough water. The lining of your stomach, made of hyaluronic acid, is 90% of it is made of water. So when you're dehydrated, the first thing you do, the stomach lining will shrink and the acid will penetrate through, which gives you stomach ulcers, gives you stomach pains, acid reflux. So you can cure a lot of problems with the stomach by drinking 1 to 2, 3 litres of water every day. That will help. First thing you should do first thing in the morning is drink a pint of warm water, even before you start eating or taking any herbal medicine. Drink plenty of water. So water is the key to your health and well-being, if that makes sense to everybody. So stomach cleanser, ginger powder, peppermint powder, apple juice. Another fantastic product is aloe vera juice, which is something that I take now, and it's fantastic. It's probably one of the best herbs in protecting your stomach. And what you want to do, you want to protect the stomach because they do say your stomach is your second brain, because your well-being of your stomach, because remember your digestive system absorbs the nutrients that your body needs. It's your first line of your defense. So if your stomach's not well, your body's not going to absorb the nutrients and the vitamins and the minerals that your body needs, that your immune system needs. So really, any organ that you want to look at it in terms of its protection, look after your stomach. And that's fundamentally important. Another great product, as I mentioned before, is apple cider vinegar and Celtic salt. And I think we're doing a talk on Celtic salt in 3 days' time, so tune in then. Lots of fantastic information to do with Celtic salt. For me, it's the only salt that I'll ever promote because of how many minerals it contains. Now, those that struggle at the White Turtle Lodge here, a lot of clients and patients do struggle consuming particular tonics. They're not always that nice to drink, unfortunately. Sometimes I take certain tonics and I have to hold my nose and I have to drink it extremely quick, and it's not always great tasting. But I'm going to give you a formula. It's called berry powder, which is great in protecting your immune system and bringing an optimum level. It's great for your brain, great for your heart, your lungs, your liver. It's fantastic. And it's the following herbs. I have added matcha green tea powder, even though it's not a berry. I have added a small spoon, a teaspoon of matcha green tea powder into this formula, because it works fantastically with some of these berries. And the first one is lingonberry. Now, those that have never heard of lingonberry, is if you when we're allowed back out again in the real world, you can make a trip to IKEA, and it's something that the Swedes and the Norwegians and the Finnish people and the Danish people will often incorporate, and it's actually lingonberry is, in terms of its nutrients and minerals, is actually better than blueberry powder. But I have added blueberry powder in this tonic as well because of its benefits. So lingonberry, cranberry, blueberry, acai powder as well, which is a fruit from the Amazon rainforest, fantastic in protecting the heart. Goji powder, or goji drink. You can get goji berry drink as well. So a lot of these formulas, the lingonberry, you can get them in a syrup. You can get lingonberry frozen. You can get cranberries frozen, and you can make your own juice, or you can get cranberry juice. You can get lingonberry juice. They're not cheap. I have to admit that they're not cheap. But then when it comes to your health and well-being, you can't put a price on it. We happily spend £20-30 on a takeaway, and what's £20-30 on some of our health and some of our health products where we can buy. So it's about prioritising your health and well-being. And there's another great berry called Aconia berry, sour cherries, a black grape. Now, out of all the grapes, the black grapes is the best grape to eat, and then green tea. And the actual form, if you like to have the actual formula of that, I'm happy to send that. Just inbox us and we'll email you formula to the berry powder, and it's a fantastic one to take once or twice a day for a week, and that's great just to build up your immune system. And just to mention about the stomach again, I just want to go back to the stomach because I did miss something off in terms of prebiotics, which is the good bacteria that helps in the formation of the bacteria. The friendly bacteria will help break down some of the food and the nutrients, and it's about working with that bacteria. And when we eat saturated fats, when we're stressed, when we're ill, it destroys the good bacteria. And if the digestive tract is compromised, then we'll worsen, and immune systems will drop, and we'll be iller. I would like to mention as well that certain prebiotic foods will consist of things that are fermented foods. You can get prebiotic pills. The pills that are made, they're manufactured. I have tried them. I've tried them for 9 months, for 12 months. And for me, they work quite well. But then again, in my opinion, you can't rely on pills and herbal medicine too much. It should work side by side. Remember, your greatest medicine is the food that we eat. So if you can incorporate some of the fruit and vegetables like ginger and carrot juice and matcha green tea that you can drink once and twice a day, you can have a spoon, you can eat apples every day. So all these things, fruit and vegetables, incorporate them in your diet before you look into a herbal formula. I think sometimes we can become lazy and we can then rely too much on herbal formulas, herbal tonics that should work side by side. We don't want to use them as a crutch. So things like sauerkraut, miso, a lot of the Japanese miso paste and miso products are fantastic in helping feed in the prebiotics. Oats, it's also fantastic. Apple cider vinegar, raw food like asparagus, leeks and onions, they're all fantastic in feeding that friendly bacteria of your digestive system. I just want to mention one other particular area, which is the endocrine system, in particular the thymus glands, which produces ultimately the T cells, or the mature T cells. So we'll get a little bit older, it creates the mature T cells, and the T cells help fight infection. Now there is a herbal tonic that I swear by at. However, you've got to be careful, because sometimes consuming too much iodine can sometimes have the reverse effect, your health and well-being, and sometimes you can overdose with certain herbs, and that's why we say take them for 3 months, have a bit of a break, and detoxify your system. Don't use certain herbs as a crutch, because then you'll have the opposite effect. Now, I use what we call a sea or water-based herbal formula, which it consists of, again, matcha green tea powder, a small spoon, kelp, wakame, daws, arami, and green algae, as well as nori and thyme. Now, when you do buy the seaweed, because wakame is a seaweed, daws is a seaweed, and arami is a seaweed, nori is a seaweed, you often find those products as dry. And when you only need a small spoon, and put them in some cold water and allow the leaves to expand, and then you just get the blender and then you blend the formula in a large a glass and a half of warm water, and then you'll blend all formulas. So particularly the wakame, the daws and the arami, you will need to loosen them in some water first, because they'll be very dry. And so when you drink in the formula, particularly the nori, it can get stuck at the back of your throat and it's a little bit unpleasant. So we want to wet the seaweed, because they'll come dry in a packet. You only need a small spoon because it comes a long way. And try taking the formula for about 10 days, and that should be enough for next sort of a month and a half, 2 months. So certain herb formulas you don't take every day, you might take a period of time, and your body will then store those particular minerals, and you will then feel what's right for you as well. So you might say, well, that formula or that herb tonic's not right for me. So really that's down to you. You've got to speak to your consultant or your doctor or your herbalist. They have lots of knowledge able to assist you. So I hope this afternoon in my small talk about the immune system, some of the knowledge that we teach here, some that we promote in terms of your health and well-being, and really moving towards a natural form of medicine. You know, looking at your mind, looking at your body, looking at your spirit, looking at your emotions, and working hand in hand together. Okay, I hope I'm going to wait online just a little bit longer if you've got any questions. Do you have any questions, Chris?
None so far. Has anybody got any questions? Please just comment below.
That's brilliant. So I'm just going to wait. Tomorrow's video, we're going to do something a little bit more interesting. I'm not saying today's session was not interesting. Sometimes just sitting and listening can be a little bit tedious sometimes, particularly when we have to look at our health and well-being. Sometimes the guided meditations, sometimes the breathing exercises bring us a little bit more upliftment, but sometimes we've got to look at our well-being, look at our diet, look what we eat to really make amendments to our health and well-being. So tomorrow we're doing a talk on crystals again. We did a crystal talk a couple of weeks ago, but the signal was quite bad, and we found that it sort of ruined the talk. So Chris is going to talk, I think, 5 to 6 different types of crystals. I'm going to look at a couple of crystals for each chakra and its benefits. It's something also that we promote here in some of our treatments, crystal healing, which is absolutely amazing stuff. Once you open your mind and you're awakened to some of these holistic side, the alternative side to medicine, it's profoundly mind-blowing, and it will awaken you to something so fundamentally beautiful and unique. Okay, I don't think we've got any questions. So if you do have any questions, you know, if you're watching the video later on, not live, then please inbox Chris or myself or the Purple Mountain, and we'll be happy to get back to you.
I've got a question.
Okay.
From Jason Sloan.
Yes.
What percentage of raw food do you suggest we eat?
Per day. I assume per day. Now, with certain nutritionists or dietitians, some dietitians will say one thing, nutritionists will say another thing. It's really what works for you. Sometimes certain fruit, certain vegetables aren't right for everybody. So when we look at raw foods, you want to look, in my opinion, you want to look at things that are high and alkaline. So I would stay away from things, when you're eating raw food, stay away from things like broccoli and cauliflower. Even though broccoli is amazing, it can be extremely painful in terms of the gases that it can create in our stomach. So you want to look at things like asparagus, you want to look at things like fennel and pak choi, and try to sometimes cold foods aren't always great for the stomach. You want warming foods also to incorporate into your blood, into your stomach, into your digestive system. So in my opinion, they do say eat 5 vegetables, 5 fruits every day. That's not always possible. One is there's only limited what we can eat. For time, also we're very limited with time. I know we're making excuses here. And also we need to look at costing. Sometimes it's extremely expensive to buy everything fresh, everything raw. And I think as long as you incorporate as much as you can, 2 or 3 raw foods into your diet each day, that's fantastic. So if you're having a hot meal and you've got some cabbage and carrots that are cooked, then maybe put some asparagus stem that are raw. So really it's about using your initiative, in my opinion. So include some raw foods into your hot foods, which then balances it out. So really, I can't say, well, this is what's right for you, this is what's right for me. Really, you've got to experiment, because you know your body more than anybody else. So a nutritionist or dietitian will say, well, I'm going to give you a diet plan or a nutritional plan, but you've got to make that amendment what's right for you. You've got to look at things like oats as well. Overnight oats is fantastic. Some coconut yogurt, some overnight oats with some berries. That's a great raw way. Fruits is something that we eat raw as well, which is fantastic for your digestive system. So hopefully I've answered that question for you, Jason. Okay, do we have any more questions?
No.
Okay, so on behalf of myself and Chris, we'd like to say have a fantastic afternoon. I hope you've been inspired with some of my words, and if you'd like to ask any more questions, then please do so. And for me, namaste and blessings. Thank you.